All right, so as far as genre entertainment goes, this could be the biggest week of the year. Spider-Man No Way Home will be in theaters in just a few days. You have to be careful today, though, guys, because the critic screenings are going on today, and there are some countries outside of the U.S. that are going to be seeing the movie either tonight or tomorrow. So be real careful for spoilers if you're trying to avoid them, okay? The movie is going to be out this Thursday. I know most of you probably have your tickets by now for the Thursday or Friday showings or this weekend. I'm assuming the hardcore fans already got their stuff. If not, then I'm sure you'll be seeing it next week. What I want to talk about here on this video, though, is I want to do a little bit of speculation slash possible spoilers. Okay, so again, if you're avoiding spoilers, this might not be the right video for you. But what I want to talk about is who is going to die in this movie, because there's no question to me that people are going to bite it in this film. And when I say people are going to bite it, I don't just mean like the villains, because obviously as far as the villains go, you would assume that the majority of them by the end of this film are going to die based on what we've seen in trailers and based on how these movies go. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about who is going to die as far as the good guys go. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my speculation, my thoughts, what I've heard, and what may or may not be true about who's dying in this film. And I'm going to be discussing the likely, I guess you can say, suspects for characters that may die. Okay, so are you ready? Again, if you don't want to be spoiled, it's not really going to be a straight out spoiler video, but I think that out of these 5 characters I'm going to list for you today, at least 2 of them are probably going to die. Okay, and some of you who are watching this probably already know this. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So the first character is the character of Ned Leeds. I think that when it comes to Ned Leeds, I never thought before they could kill him. But if they're going to keep Tom Holland as Spider-Man and they want to eventually bring in the Hobgoblin, instead of having the Green Goblin in this version of Spider-Man, since we already saw the Green Goblin in both the Sam Raimi and the Mark Webb Amazing Spider-Man movies, then why not have Ned Leeds eventually become the Hobgoblin? So even though he may die on screen in this film, it doesn't mean he's actually dead. It could also mean that we think he's dead, and by the end of the film, it looks like he's dead, but perhaps he'll come back in the future and be the Hobgoblin. That's my first suspect of who may die. Number 2, Sam Raimi's Peter Parker, aka Toby Maguire. The reason why is because there was a rumor about a year ago that he's going to die in this movie. Now again, that may or may not be true, because we've also heard that he's going to go back to his universe and Kirsten Dunst is there. But if they want to wrap up the story of the oldest and most experienced Spider-Man, maybe dying as a martyr, maybe dying as somebody who is a hero one last time, why not have him die in this film? I think the only issue with this is going to piss off a lot of fans. I think a lot of fans of Spider-Man, especially that Raimi movie, which has the most fans, you can't deny that. That film, out of all the Spider-Men, he is the most popular. Having him die is a little bit of a risky move. At the same time, it could be great closure for that character. And also, if the death on screen is satisfying, like what we saw with Tony Stark, I think a lot of fans are going to be, of course, they're going to be upset, they're going to be sad, but it's also a necessary death, possibly to help Tom Holland Spider-Man, his version of Peter Parker, mature into being a great man and learn. With great power comes great responsibility, and why not why not show that responsibility by being a hero who, like the song goes, and they say that a hero can save us. I wish the song was in this movie, but I don't think it's going to be. We might see that. I am on the fence about this. I don't think they should kill off. They should kill off Raimi's Toby Maguire. Peter Parker. I don't think they should, right? But if he does die, I'm not going to be totally against it if it's a well done death. I think I don't think we're going to see Andrew Garfield Spider-Man die, because they may have plans for him in the future, but I think we may see this Spider-Man die. Number 3 is, of course, MJ. And I think MJ, some have said, is going to die. I don't think so, because they're probably going to bring back Zendaya for future films. I think that by the end of this movie, she may have her memory wiped when the Doctor Strange spell actually does go through. But I don't foresee them actually killing off the MJ character, because Zendaya is a big part of the Tom Holland Spider-Man, and I think they're just beginning with that relationship. And I think this movie will give Tom Holland a taste of what it's going to be like, but he may have to start over again with her. So there you go. I don't think she's going to die, but some people have speculated that they think she is going to die. So let me know in the comments if you think she's going to die and if it would be a smart move to actually kill her off in this film. So the next person who may end up being the next person who may end up dying is Aunt May. And I think this one is in the highly likely category. Look, I like Marissa Tomei. I like her playing an older May. I feel like at this point, though, you don't have the Uncle Ben death in the MCU. I think Aunt May dying could provide that emotional resonance for Peter Parker, Tom Holland version to grow up and to actually be on his own for once and not have to be a kid anymore, because now he's going to be out of high school. He's going to be a huge hero going forward, and it's going to be better for him to, I guess, it's going to be better for him to, move forward and to grow up and really mature into being the Peter Parker that maybe the Raimi one kind of became, you know what I mean, and really be a grown man. I lost my train of thought there for a second, but I was trying to figure out what the right words are because I don't script these videos, man. I'm just talking. So there is that. Now, in addition to that, we also have one more person, and that is Happy Hogan. And I think of all the characters, if Aunt May dies, Happy Hogan's going with her. Why? Because there's a few reasons. Number one, Jon Favreau is going to be doing more Star Wars stuff coming up, and I can see him opening up his schedule to produce more Star Wars content. Book of Boba Fett's coming up, Mandalorian Season 3, and other shows going to be producing. So I feel like that could open up, something for him. And I feel like if Aunt May dies, there's not really anything left for the Happy Hogan character. There really isn't anything left for him. So I feel like the best thing that could happen for that character, for Peter Parker, is that he loses, I guess, I don't really want to say he's the new Uncle Ben, but the step uncle, I guess, who's like he's the last connective tissue to Tony Stark. And I think with this movie, because the first two Spider-Man MCU movies were so close and so strongly tied into Tony Stark, I think having him die here is kind of like the end of an era. Like we've killed off Tony, we've killed off Black Widow. Pepper's not dead, but she doesn't have to be dead. We've killed off Happy Hogan. Now the threads to the original Iron Man film, heck, you could even say the Mandarin. You could even say when he died in Shang-Chi, spoiler alert. I'm just saying, I think Happy Hogan's time is up in this film. I feel like he has a higher chance of dying than even Aunt May. But I think at the very least, guys, I think that Happy Hogan and Aunt May are both going to bite it. I remember hearing a spoiler that both of them and Ned Leeds die in this film. But Ned Leeds does not really die. But I think without question, to me, Aunt May and Happy Hogan are done. They are dust in this film, because you have to have something that's going to create true pain and true suffering for Peter. We now know from people who have made the movie, not even spoilers or leaks, we know that Peter will be suffering in this film. And what more powerful way is there for him to suffer than losing not only the last connection to Tony Stark for him to become his own man, but the last connection, his last family, which would be Aunt May. And that could guide him in a whole new story, because, poor Peter, his parents died when he was young, at least in the MCU they did, I would assume. There's no Uncle Ben, and he loses Aunt May. All he has left is MJ, and she might lose her memory, so it's going to be literally a point of rebirth for the character. Death and rebirth, like the Phoenix. I don't mean the Marvel character. I mean like what's based off of. You know what I mean? And it's a powerful story to now move on to the next MCU Spider-Man trilogy and tell a story of him trying to figure out that he has to really rely on himself now. He's gotten help from Happy, from Tony, from his aunt, and from other Spider-Men like Toby and Andrew. Now it's going to be to himself. I think it's a beautiful story to tell. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. We got a few more days left. I'll talk to you soon.